After a lot of speculations and rumors, we finally got the first official pictures from the box of the LEGO Star Wars UCS Death Star. And it's looking interesting, to say the least. But I don't want to waste your time, so let's get into it. This is set number 75419, comes with 9023 pieces, and the minifigure count is I think 38, but it's something between 36 and 40 as far as I remember. And it's gonna release on October 1st of 2025. And the rumored retail price is of course still roughly $1,000/euros. And here's of course the front image of the UCS Death Star box, and you may notice there is something off, and yeah, the shape is off. It's not a sphere or anything in that regard, it's a round shaped flat diorama thing. I think that is kind of a way to describe it, which doesn't look that bad. To be honest, I thought when the first rumors came that it won't be a sphere, I thought it would look way worse, and I don't know, I kind of like the idea behind this. As far as I know, I think you will also be able to hang up the Death Star on the wall with some things on the back, which I think is also really cool. I think it's gonna look really great on display when you have it up, but $1,000 seems way too much for this. I mean, I like the idea and the ground concept from the set, but this does not seem anywhere near a $1,000 set, especially it's not what you'd expect for the first $1,000 LEGO set to be this thing here. I don't know, it's if you want a Death Star, I think you want a round thing, and especially for $1,000 you'd not expect to have like a slice of a Death Star and not the full thing. But to be fair, it seems pretty big. You have basically the whole throne room diorama in the top section there. You have a smaller version of an Imperial shuttle in there, so it seems pretty big, but yeah, I don't know, $1,000 for a slice of a Death Star doesn't seem fair to me. On the side of the box you're gonna get a selection of pictures from the scenes and builds that are included in this set, and also the scenes that you can represent on your shelf. On the top left corner we can see the Emperor's arrival from episode 6. There is a miniature version of the, or like not a miniature version but a smaller version of the Imperial shuttle, at least it seems smaller than the other shuttles that we have gotten. But it doesn't look bad, I think it looks solid from the pictures here. I think it's cool that they included something like this, like these Imperial hangar scenes from the Death Star are pretty iconic, and yeah, it looks pretty solid. Down below that we have of course the duel between Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Vader from episode 4, with Luke in the background. Next to that we have the trash compactor, or like the Death Star escape scene, with Han Solo and C-3PO in the control room. Next to that we have a smaller version, I feel like. This doesn't seem as big as the diorama, but it could be the same, I don't know, from the Death Star trash compactor. Then there's also the cell where Princess Leia is being kept in episode 4, with Vader and the torture droid, and where she gets interrogated, which is a nice inclusion. Then there's also the conference room from the Death Star with a bunch of cool figures and Vader and everything. I really like the design for this room. Of course there are many elevators in the Death Star, and you're gonna get a couple of these in this set as well. Below that there is a build for the Death Star cannon with the Death Star gunners. And right next to that there is the final duel with the Emperor, Vader and Luke. It seems pretty similar to the diorama build. I don't know if it's exactly the same, but it could be, I don't know. Which I think is a good idea because the diorama looks really great. And it also gives a kind of sense for the scale from this model, how big it's gonna be. Because I can't really read the size chart next to it, but it seems to be a pretty big build. On the other side of the box you're gonna get a picture of the Death Star, which is actually a sphere, which doesn't really fit the aesthetic of the set, but yeah, I guess it's a cool picture. Now on the size chart we can see that the set doesn't have that much depth, of course, which makes sense if you want to hang it on the wall, and I think the white pieces on the top of the set are probably some hang-on things that you can mount it to the wall. And even though I can't read the size chart here because it's a real blurry image, I still feel like it's not gonna be that deep, as yeah, it doesn't make really sense for this build to be that deep if you're gonna have this half-sliced version. But yeah, I don't know, it just seems not enough for $1,000. I feel like a better version to go for a $1,000 set would have been just like the Barad-dûr, to make it like a half-sliced thing, where one side is a closed Death Star build, so you can actually display a Death Star. Maybe even make a version where you can rebuild it to a Death Star 2. And the other side being this diorama kind of look. I think like half a ball, half a sphere would have been a fine idea. Or just make it a full Death Star and make this as a smaller, like $300, $400, maybe $500 diorama build. But $1,000, I don't know. Of course, we haven't seen more pictures of this. We haven't seen an official reveal. We haven't seen it in hand. But I don't know, from the pictures here, it doesn't seem like $1,000. Not anywhere near that. And I also think a lot of people want a full Death Star, especially when they're paying such a high price tag. So it's definitely a brave move for LEGO to do this, which I often appreciate when companies try to do something new and it can turn out good, and I think it looks cool and it is a cool idea. But for the most expensive LEGO Star Wars set, I don't know. What I have to say though, because I forgot to mention it before, is I really like the build for the Death Star laser. I think it looks really cool from the side to have it linked to the Death Star gunners there, and just the whole build looks really cool. And overall it looks really nice. Also the scenes with Luke and Leia escaping there, and there's just a lot to discover and a lot to love about this set, especially for original trilogy fans. But once again, the price tag is just, it feels just way too steep, even though the piece count seems pretty fair. But it just doesn't seem as massive as it should feel on the box, which I of course could be wrong. It could be way more massive in real life, but I don't know. Something is off about this price and about the feeling I get when looking at the set. So for me, it's gonna be very unlikely to pick this up day one, maybe with some discounts someday, but I don't see this being worth it for me for day one for $1,000. We of course still are yet to see the GWP with the set, which is apparently gonna be, I think a TIE Fighter was the last rumor, but still, it probably won't be worth it for me. But now I would be very interested in your opinion about the set. Do you like the slice of a Death Star diorama kind of version? Or would you have preferred a full sphere, or like the old play models with like a sphere but also this diorama kind of look? What would have been your dream Death Star model? Please let me know down in the comments below. And also let me know down in the comments below if you are interested or thinking about picking this set up on day one, or if this is a no-go for you, if you think it's too overpriced. Maybe you even think the price is fair, I don't know, maybe it's just me who thinks this thing is overpriced, but I feel like this is a pretty common opinion about this. But now I hope this video wasn't too long. I really wanted to get these news and pictures out to you as quick as possible, so you're up to date when it comes to LEGO Star Wars. But now feel free to like and subscribe if you're new and want to support the channel. Thanks a lot for watching, and until then, have a great day.